Did it take a lot of courage, or how long did it take for you to ask Ainsley on the first date?
She insisted I ask my boss. True story.
And did HR sign off?
I'm like, well, why don't you ask? I said, why do I have to do that? You've been here longer. I'm like, oh.
We'll get to the Donald J. Trump section of this interview.
Is that not part of the...
We'll get there. What's your biggest vice?
Nicotine. You want some nicotine pouches?
No, thank you. I'm pregnant.
Oh, that wouldn't be a good idea. Want a cocktail? Bad idea. You know, health, wellness, nutrition, longevity, and nicotine are, the top of my list.
You are one of President Trump's earliest and most loyal supporters. Mm-hmm. How often do you talk to him? What's something you disagree with President Trump on?
Sometimes, did you have to say that? Did you really have to go there? I know a lot of people don't want to work that hard, but I think if there's any key to my success, number one, I've been blessed beyond what I deserve. I start with God, and that's an important part of my life. And the second part would be that I'm not going to be outworked by anybody. This is the worst podcast you've done, right?
Yeah, 100%. The ratings failure, total ratings failure.
Oh, great.
So we're excited to be in Palm Beach today, joined by the famous Sean Hannity.
The infamous, infamous, I don't know. I was going to say,
welcome to the Katie Miller podcast, but this is Sean Hannity's show, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to turn it over to him.
No, you don't have to turn it over to me. I watched your podcast. By the way, I watched Elon, you had Susie Wiles, you had Laura.
No, I did not have Susie.
Oh, you didn't have Susie. You have Laura. I saw you had Jenny McCarthy. I watched that one she was way ahead of the curve on autism. Good for her.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. You've got in that pile of whatever, there, you got all these trick questions, and I'm like, oh, I have no idea what I'm going to be hit with, which is rare. I don't do many interviews anymore, but I think the world of you and Stephen and your kids are phenomenal. As you know, I've watched it all unfold. But my favorite part about you and Stephen, and then I'm going to shut up and let you take over the interview.
Okay.
Is you guys go on fake news CNN, and you don't take shit from these people. And almost like immediately, it's like, bam, bam, bam. Nobody will see it there.
No.
I take that video and I bring you on, I bring Stephen on, I play the video, more people see it on my show. And it's like, everyone's like, oh, this is epic. Another takedown by one of the Millers.
It's so fun to watch the host's reaction as they're like, oh no, it's happened to me again.
Yeah.
But I haven't been asked to come back since that happened.
Did Stephen get banned? Because for a while we thought he did.
For a while he was. I think they have only had him on in limited capacities. He can ask and ask and ask, and they say, I won't say which host, but one of the hosts said that she needed a lot of time to prepare, and she didn't have that much time to do so.
How much time do you need for Stephen Miller? Ask him a question, shut up, and let him go. It's not that hard to interview either one of you, to be honest. So,
maybe not.
By the way, congrats on the podcast success. Thank you for having me. I don't like to do a lot of interviews. I feel like I get enough time between radio, TV, and now my new podcast, which we've delayed the launch with all the news, obviously. But I've watched it. It's really cool. You send them to me, and I'm grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. So we're between your radio show and your TV show.
Correct.
What does a typical day for Sean Hannity look like?
A typical day is I get up, I work out, eat breakfast, and I don't stop. That's the short answer. My radio producer will come with a pile about this big. I kind of read the equivalent of 2 books a day. I still like to read like the New York Post, sometimes the Wall Street Journal, whatever I'm going to read. I like to read a hard paper. When I was 8 years old, I delivered papers. And at one point I delivered the New York Daily News. I wish it was the New York Post because I like that a lot better. And just something, I would sit in the wintertime when it was freezing cold, next to this heater, and my legs would get red and half burnt, and I'd stay warm, and I'd sit there, and I'd be reading. Back then, I read the sports pages first. Now, obviously, I go to the front page first.
So is that where you get your news primarily, is through a producer who hands it to you and through physical copies, or do you get it elsewhere?
Then the day goes on, I'll have like my first call with radio and TV producers pretty early. And we, maybe before I do my workout, do a hard workout, I only eat meat and eggs unless I'm on the road. So I have a pretty strict diet, which is easy to cook, and I love that part. A lot of times I'll cook on Sunday night for the week, and all my food's ready to go. And then I go up and I just, bury myself in that. I'll do my 3 hours of radio, take a little break, eat some more, and then get right back into writing for the TV show. And
do you eat a big dinner before your TV show?
I'd rather eat before TV than after. I don't like to eat late. I try to intermittent fast a little bit when I can. So, health, wellness, nutrition, longevity, and nicotine are, the top of my list.
So you said you cook. Do you cook for yourself every day? Do you get takeout?
Occasionally I'll do Uber Eats, but not much. Instacart, I personally, like on Sunday afternoon, I love to go grocery shopping. I get my car washed, go to the bank, go grocery shopping. Every time I go grocery shopping, somebody will go, "What are you doing here?" And I look at them like, "Shopping? What are you doing here?" And I talk to people. It's almost like
Do you take a lot of selfies at the grocery store?
A lot of
selfies, like pictures?
Oh yeah, like all the time. But you know what? I'm grateful for that. When you think about it, if people don't watch my show, listen to my radio show, I don't have a job. And when I got behind a radio microphone for the first time in my life, that light went on and my life changed. It was over. Game, set, match, over. Never thought I'd be successful. And all I knew is that's all I wanted to do.
How do you decide who makes it on your radio show versus your TV show?
I have a great team. I have great teams around me. TV and radio, both producers probably have been with me over 20 years. They know how I think, what I'm thinking about. So when the day is over, I might make a drink if I feel like having a drink that night. And then I get right back to it. Then I go online. I have my whole routine of websites. That takes about 2 hours. So I'm like firing it off to radio and TV at the same time. I'm making phone calls. All the people that I like and care about in my life that I know are always up late, including somebody that you probably know. That's when I talk to them. And we've been friends for 30 years. And sometimes it's just phone calls, sometimes they're work calls, whatever it happens to be.
We'll get to the Donald J. Trump section of this interview.
Is that not part of it?
We'll get there.
We have to follow. How many of those
there's
do you
not that
have?
many. To be fair, there's like 10.
There's 10. Oh my gosh.
To be fair.
And the way I talk, you're not getting through one.
We'll get there. What's the toughest story you've ever had to cover?
Anytime there's a story about anybody dying, I hate it. I don't like it.
Is there one that sticks out in your mind?
Well, 9/11 was hard. Any story about a child dying. I really got into, I wanted to find Nancy Guthrie like sooner than later. And I don't like to hear stories like that at all. I'll never forget where I was. I'm sure you'll never forget where you were when President Trump got shot. I went to breakfast. That was at Butler. He came within a millimeter of losing his life. And I remember watching it, and when he stood up, which is so Trumpian, and then did fight, 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 which is so iconic now, and then I saw the blood on his face, I said, uh-oh, I thought he was gonna drop. Because sometimes you can stand up immediately, and then you'd fall. I was feverishly texting mutual friends all around him, to make sure he was okay. But I was pretty upset that day. But anytime there's death or dying or any innocent children, I love kids. I'm a big kid guy, and I have a soft spot for them. I hate the evil that exists in the world. There is evil. I wrote a book about it in 2004, Deliver Us from Evil, defeating terrorism, despotism, and liberalism. And liberals got pissed off. But if you don't win the political battles, you can't have people with moral clarity and strength to defeat the terrorists and the despots.
What do you think is the biggest threat facing the United States today?
Yeah, well, I think
is it liberalism?
Our top besides that, them getting back in office, that would be a big threat. Probably the top geopolitical threat is China, I think, more than we think. And I would say secondarily, radical Islamic terrorism is a real clear present danger. I think Joe Biden created the single most preventable national security crisis in our lifetime. And that really drives me nuts. Over 12 million, I know this is a big issue for Stephen, 12 million plus, because we don't know how many gotaways there were, known terrorists, murderers, rapists, child molesters, other violent criminals, cartel members, gang members. I mean, to me, those are all real threats. And, you know, you have about to have 4 young children. And, you know, I care about your kids. Everyone has the right to grow up in safety and security. You need law and order for that. It's a prerequisite for the pursuit of happiness. You got to be safe and secure.
What's the toughest interview you've ever done?
The toughest interview I ever did, I didn't do. And I would ask Barack Obama, Barack Hussein Obama, sorry, Barack Hussein Obama. I knew if I ever got that interview, it would be hard, because I do respect the office of the presidency so much. That would have been tough. I know Bill O'Reilly did it, and he was like, he didn't care. So
yeah.
I might have followed his example.
If you could go back and redo any interview you've ever done, which one would you redo?
Oh boy, you know, I don't spend a lot of time. I'm not the type of person that goes back after a show and says, oh, why didn't I say this or why didn't I say that? Occasionally it comes to my mind, and then I'll just fix it the next time.
And who's been your favorite interview?
Probably the biggest character. I mean, how can you deny the force of nature that is President Trump?
You've interviewed him quite a bit. Mm-hmm. Who's your dream interview then?
You know, if I had an opportunity...
I think nobody says no to you, so not many people at least.
Well, a lot of liberals say no.
Sure.
Okay. Probably I would like to get an interview with all the former presidents and the current president and get them in a room together. And that would be Obama, Biden, although I'm not sure if he knows what day of the week it is, Clinton, yep. President Trump. I think that would be historic. I would love to do that.
If 25-year-old Sean Hannity was relaunching his career, would he still choose radio or would he pick podcasting?
It's a great question. I never dreamed when I was on a college station that had no listeners. It was a little local AM college-only campus station. But I didn't know the first time I cracked a mic, I was like shaking, out of my mind, scared to death. And you can't, I think you should do it all. That's my advice to people. I know a lot of people don't want to work that hard, but I think if there's any key to my success, number one, I've been blessed beyond what I deserve. I start with God, and that's an important part of my life. And the second part would be that I'm not going to be outworked by anybody. And hence, you know, I do the 3 hours of radio, I do my hour TV show, I put a lot of work into both. I love it. It's my passion. And yeah, I'll tell you a funny story. President Trump tells my boss one day, why do you pay?
Lachlan or Rupert?
I think both of them. I think he said it to both. Why do you pay this guy? He'd do it for free. He goes, you don't need to pay him. And he's probably right, but I don't want to admit that publicly because I have long-term deals now. I can say it.
Yeah.
But I'm grateful for the opportunities that I've had. I feel like every moment in my life when I had a chance to jump, I jumped. And you know, people are asking me, well, now you're going to add a podcast to your busy schedule? I'm like, hey, I'm excited about it. I've taped a few episodes, and I loved it. I can say shit, I can say bullshit, I can have because that's really who I am. This is how I dress in real life. I don't wear a suit, I don't wear, buttoned up collared shirt and a tie, I don't like it.
Do you wear suit pants on the show, or
Never.
Are you in jeans?
Jeans, every night.
Do you think legacy media can ever regain public trust, or do you think it's gone forever?
No, it's over.
Do you think the Paramount deal, as it is today, where they're going to buy the entirety of Warner Brothers, is a good thing for the future of our country, especially as it relates to legacy news? To be determined.
I mean, I've watched episodes, even recent episodes of 60 Minutes, and I felt they were abusively biased as usual. And by now, I think they should have gotten a hold of that. what I think they ought to do if they really were serious about changing the culture is they should have just walked in and you're all done and start over and, clean slate and get some people. One of the problems I think that they would face is there is a dearth of talent. Like when I was coming up in talk radio, local stations, and I'm now on 760 and Sirius XM, there was a station in Huntsville, Alabama, where I worked from, you weren't born yet probably, 1990 to 92.
In between, I was born.
Born in 91?
Yeah, in between.
Oh, perfect, okay. I was on the air. By the time I went there, not even knowing if I could do a 3-hour afternoon show. By the time I left, I did a 3-hour afternoon show, 3-hour morning show, and then did a Saturday show.
Do you think Jim Acosta ruined it for the future of journalism? Because that's what all
Do
young
I think he's what?
Do you think Jim Acosta ruined it for the future of journalism? Because now all these young kids thinks that that's what journalism looks like at the highest scale.
What frustrates me the most about legacy media, and that's what you're asking me about, and keep the personalities out of it, they're all the same to me in many ways, is like I'm a member of the press. Okay, I work at Fox News, I work on radio, I could produce thousands of hours of radio and TV of straight news coverage that I've done over the years. I can produce thousands of hours of investigative reporting. The Russia hoax, Russia collusion, the dirty dossier, Barack Obama's radical associations, Bill Ayers, Bernardine Dorn, Jeremiah Wright, Alinsky, community organizer, Frank Marshall Davis. I can bring all of that. This was groundbreaking work I felt at the time that no one else was doing. And now, the difference between me and them is that I also say I am a conservative. I'm going to tell you who I'm going to vote for. Recently, Donald Trump. And
3 times?
3 times.
One more time to go?
I don't think it's going to happen. That's my guess. I haven't really talked to him about it. It is a good question, though. I think the Constitution's clear now. Look, who knows? With Donald Trump, you just don't know. And the rules change. And here's the difference, though, to finish this thought, is they claim to be that which they are not. They claim to be journalists. They're full of shit. They're not journalists. Fake Jake is not a journalist. You've been on his show. I know, because I played clips. All right, Steven's been on the show. He's not. He's a liberal talk show host. Now, that still makes him a member of the press. I'm fine with that. But stop telling me you're a journalist.
Yeah.
The difference between, I think, myself and Fox in general is we are upfront about who we are. We have journalists that work at Fox. I just happen to be an opinion person. We have an opinion division. We have a news division. We work great hand in glove. But if it's a big news night and I need to go into news mode, I'm in news mode. That's it. Like the other night when this situation was going down in Iran, I'm in news mode at that point.
More people would trust the legacy media if they were honest with the
They're not.
American people.
They just lie.
And they're just not.
All right, let me ask you, is there anybody on CNN that you don't think has an opinion?
No.
That they express and show and expose?
No, they all have opinions.
They all do.
It's very obvious. I think with the advent of X and social media, you see it more clearly in the tone and tenor of people's postings.
What bothers me about, now I love the platform X, I really do. I love what Elon's done to it. I'm a big fan, as you know, of Elon Musk. I love Instagram. I love the fact that it exists. I love Meta. I love the fact that it exists. I love, YouTube. Your program is going to be everywhere. This program is going to be seen by millions. Tell your friends and hit the thumbs up button to join.
It's the Sean Hannity voice.
Got to get a promo in. And I love the fact that all of these platforms, but I am convinced that there's a lot of bots still surrounding all of them. 1. Number 2, you have these anonymous people, either naked or in their underwear, in their parents' basement, keyboard anonymous warriors that can say anything they want and not be held accountable. Some of it's funny, though.
Some of it's really good.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Do you think conservatives have become too focused on fighting, conservative media has become too focused on fighting each other instead of fighting the left?
I do. You know what? And I've stayed out of it, if you've noticed.
You have.
That's by design. To me, the big fight in this country is against the radical left. And they all want to kill each other. Have at it. I'm way past the point in my career, Katie, that I care at all about what other people are doing or saying. I watch it because I have to be aware, and I read so much news I can't miss it. And however, my interest in involving myself in it is zero. I don't believe my success is predicated on tearing somebody else down or their failure. I have my core beliefs. I have been, since the day I went on the air, a consistent Reagan, now MAGA, conservative my entire career. And, you know, when Donald Trump first came on the scene, I was one of the earliest people to support him. And there's a whole story about how that came into being. When I came out for him, I was getting the crap beat out of me. Glenn Beck, Ben Shapiro, name a few names. I have no resentment, no residual resentment, but I'm not a real conservative.
How's your relationship with Tucker Carlson now?
No, I don't ever talk to him, ever. I mean, I wish him well. I've read a lot of what he says. I just completely disagree with it, and it's not the person that I knew when he was at Fox.
Do you think he should have left Fox?
I'm not getting involved in all that. That's up to him.
So you've been with Fox since the beginning. You're basically a part of the network's DNA. What do you think has kept Fox for so strong for so long compared to other networks that have come and then watched their ratings tumble?
You know, it's a great question. I could tell you that everyone I know at Fox works as hard as I do, and we really care about the product we put on the air. And we have this open lane. We've always kind of had this lane where I really look at our news shows and I see both sides of an issue. I look at our opinion shows and you're not getting that on any other network. So we're offering a product that was underserved in the marketplace, and I think that's a big reason for the success. If you go back to the beginning years when talk radio was really just taking off, I kind of get in at the sweet spot in both radio and TV. My first radio show was in 1987. Rush didn't syndicate till 88, and then Rush forged this huge path for everybody that would follow him, and even all of us on Fox owe him a debt of gratitude. And when he passed away 5 years ago, I said, you're never going to replace this guy. He's just too good. But it also helped Fox News, because now he proved that there was an audience there that wanted to hear conservative thought, opinion, news, information that they weren't getting from anywhere else.
What's the difference between Rupert's leadership style and Lachlan's?
Oh, boy. I can only tell you my experience has been, they have both been phenomenal to me. And I am really grateful. And I don't say that, I am just grateful that they let me do my show, let me be who I am, and I can tell you throughout all the 30 years, and now I'm in the 30th year at Fox, I have had no interference at all. And I don't get phone calls when the ratings are through the roof. I don't get phone calls if it was a bad night. They let me do a show, and I think over time they've developed enough faith and confidence in my ability to be thoughtful and to deliver a good show every night.
During so many shakeups that's happened at the network, how have you managed to stay consistent and just keep your show and keep doing what you're doing?
I watch it and I just kind of stay dialed into what I'm doing every day. And, it's sort of like Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. I work hard to build a good show every single day. I have a long view and I have the short-term view. I gotta leave your podcast and I've got to deliver a good show tonight. I'm gonna leave here. I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna write that show, and it's already fully booked. We have Great guest tonight.
I'm sure it's been booked out.
It's booked up, but the thing is, if anything, I just love being on the air. I probably love it now more and appreciate it more than I ever have at any point in my career.
Do you still get TV jitters, like the jitters right before you go on?
No.
When did those go away?
Long time ago. I don't know. I can't give you an exact date.
Do you ever see someone in person who's like still shaking as they're sitting next to you?
Yeah, of course. So I have a whole system that I use. If I see somebody's nervous, because they're going to walk away having had a bad experience.
Yeah.
And it's going to make the people at home nervous too.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you a story if you're interested.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. Remember the Terry Schiavo case down in the Free State here in Florida?
Yep.
Okay, I was covering that for a full week.
Yeah.
And there was a nurse that had taken care of Terry and felt like there was some indication level of awareness that she had. And I don't remember her name. She was a lovely woman. My sisters are nurses. You know, these are people that you don't go into nursing unless you really care about other people. And so this lady comes on the set and literally turned to me and I'm like, oh, hi, how are you? What do I say? It was that bad.
Oh, God.
I'm like, okay, got it. And I don't want this to be misconstrued.
Yeah.
So I kind of like went like that, but just a little extra than like a pat.
Yeah.
So like, and her attention went there. Like, it was not a hit.
Right.
You know, I can see the headline of it. Hannity hits an innocent nurse. No, that's not what I did. I got her attention. Because when people are in that mode, it's their thoughts create feelings, their feelings create thoughts, their thoughts create feelings, and all of that. And what I was trying to do is just break that cycle. And then I said, give me your hand. I shook her hand with a little extra squeeze that she went, like she looked down. Now all of a sudden, I broke the cycle.
Yeah.
And I learned, this is, if you want to talk about how athletes get in a zone, you know, I tried to be very present when I'm on air. Like right now, I am in a room with you, I'm listening to what you're saying, and I'm trying to be very present. This guy's annoying over here, she's great over there. No, I'm kidding. Teasing. And so I learned in that moment that you can break the cycle if somebody's, you know, anxious or,
yeah.
I would argue my take was she was having a full-blown panic attack. And I did not want that for her. She was such a nice lady.
We talk a lot about what keeps our lives running, and having affordable energy is one of those non-negotiables. Usually when power demand skyrockets like it is now, you expect the bad news that rates are going up too. But in the Southeast, Southern Company is proving it doesn't have to be that way. They're meeting this massive new demand while keeping costs down for families by building new infrastructures, creating American jobs, and ensuring that new data centers are paying their fair share so that everyone benefits. It's a different way of doing business, one that is putting customers first and achieving energy dominance. Southern Company is building the future with energy. This episode is in paid partnership with the Southern Company. You are one of President Trump's earliest and most loyal supporters. Mm-hmm. How often do you talk to him?
I've never talked about it publicly. I probably am not going to start now. But
is it under 7 times a week?
Are you going to? Then it's going to be under 5, over 10.
Yeah, we're going to keep going.
I have 2 relationships with him, and I am never really going to be the guy, the person in his life. I've never met a person that has had more knives put in his neck and his back than that man. And I refuse to ever be one of those people. Yeah. So when we talk as friends, because I knew him, I've known him for 30 years, and there was a whole process by which I came to endorse him. This is a guy that donated to Democrats. This is a guy that had Hillary Clinton, I think, at his wedding with Melania. Mm-hmm. And I think he went to Chelsea's wedding, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong. And I kept saying to him, we would have these conversations, and I was doing my own vetting of him, and I said, if you're not a conservative and prove to me you will govern as a conservative, then I won't support you. And then in the course of those conversations, I realized he really was way more conservative, but with a twist. And the twist was, well, why are we liberating Iraq, and why aren't they paying for their own liberation? Just very Trumpian thoughts, and I began to get a glimpse into what would now be the future. So I had no hesitation supporting him because I believed he could win. I had a lot of friends in that primary. I think there was 17. I think I had 16 of the 17 first interviews when they announced at the time. The only one that I didn't get first, interestingly, was the guy I ended up supporting, Donald Trump. Gave it to somebody else. I think he gave it to O'Reilly. Jeez, what's up with that?
What's something you disagree with President Trump on?
Sometimes, like, did you have to say that? Did you really have to go there? We've had a couple of those moments. That would probably be my biggest
Which one of
criticism.
those was your largest? He shouldn't have said that one. Maybe a different way he could have said it better.
Like maybe after Rob Reiner, John McCain wasn't too good either.
What do you think is the biggest difference between President Trump's first and second term?
Light years, actually. There's order. The 4 years in exile, I will relay one conversation that we had after 2020. I said, these 4 years are going to fly by. And then he asked me a question. He goes, do you think maybe it would work out better if I came back after 4 years rather than having consecutive terms? I said, yes, because it would be historic. And I said, it's kind of Churchillian, and it only happened one time in American history. And I was more right than I knew, because he went in there with a force of nature. And I felt like he had learned organizationally, and in his selections, I think he knew what he was doing the minute he walked in the door, and he's been shock and awe ever since.
You're a big consumer of media. Who would you like to see interview President Trump who has not yet?
Is there anyone he didn't give an interview to?
That would be interesting or different than what he knows.
I actually liked the Joe Rogan interview. I thought that was pretty cool. I liked the fact that he invited Bill Maher to the White House. I would have loved to have been a fly on. I would have loved to have been at that dinner. I don't think he's been on with Stephen A., who's one of my closest friends. I think Stephen A. would be really interesting.
What's the best White House event you've attended?
I don't go very often. I don't know if you know that. I only go for work, and I don't go to Mar-a-Lago very often. I feel like I have a job, and I try to, when he's no longer president, love to go hang out with him. He's what people don't know about him, he's one of the funniest, kindest, most generous people you're ever going to meet in your life. I mean, he give you the shirt off his back. He loves music. I've been to Mar-a-Lago enough to watch him playing his songs, and Pavarotti, and then you go to Sinead O'Connor, and then you go to like Metallica, Sandman. It's great. You never know what's coming next, or Guns N' Roses.
You and Ainsley live in different places, yet seemingly...
Ainsley who? Kidding, I'm joking. Those are jokes, sweetheart.
And have very different work schedules. How do you make your relationship work?
I made the biggest mistake in my life when, somebody was asking something about us. My answer was something to the effect, I don't ever talk about my personal life in public. Boom. She gives an answer like, he's the nicest, sweetest, greatest, kindest, most generous. I'm like, oh, God, I blew it. I'll tell you why it works for us, and it's not conventional maybe for other people, is when, in this case, for me, and I'll speak for myself, when you find the right person that is completely supportive of all that I do, and that we have the exact same values, and that we love to do the same stuff, which is we're not really into like a big social scene stuff. We like family dinners. We like to be with our kids and just downtime, and like just have fun and just be with each other. Just being together. It's kind of like when I'm with her, I'm on vacation. It just takes me out of my work mode.
How did your Fox family feel about your relationship?
I don't know. You have to ask them. I never asked them. I didn't ask for a seal of approval.
How often do you guys see each other?
We've never missed a weekend since we started dating. Ever.
Would she ever move down here, or would you ever move back to New York?
Look, I'm very supportive of her career. She's great at Fox and Friends. She is supportive. She loves the fact that I have radio, TV, and now a podcast, because otherwise I'd be driving her crazy. So, but she also knows my workday doesn't end at 10 p.m. when the show's over. You know, then I'm on the phone, then I'm doing research for the next day. I don't stop. So my work week is so jam-packed. There really isn't, I would just be, we would like be, you know, souls passing in the night anyway. That's the reality of our life for a number of years to come, and we're both happy with it. So for those people that want to analyze it, I've seen the keyboard warriors living in their mother's and father's basement.
Yeah.
Their comment, why is she dating grandpa? Why is she hanging out with an aging lesbian? I've read that comment recently.
Oh, God.
I'm like, wow, people are cold, man. However, they are wickedly funny.
Yeah.
You know.
What's it been like having a blended family? Was that easy to merge your two families together?
What if I told you my kids like her better than me? And meant it?
I'm sure they do.
What's
not what to like about Ainsley?
I'm sure they do. It's not even a question.
What's not what to love about her?
That's a great point. Everything you see on TV is what you get. It's real. You know, we both share the same faith. That is a great, you know, and we've both been through hard times like everyone else in life. There's nobody that goes through this life that doesn't get something, that doesn't have to deal with something. And so we support each other in that way. And I'm at a point in my life that I really feel that I'm mature enough to really know what the definition of love is very different than when you're younger.
Were you nervous to bring your kids into a new relationship?
I don't remember being nervous. I have a very good relationship with my children, and I was just honest with them. And so, but they're very loving and supportive. I'm blessed. I have two really great kids, and she has a beautiful daughter who loves to beat me up and take all my money. And she's really good at it.
Did it take a lot of courage, or how long did it take for you to ask Ainsley on the first date?
She insisted I ask my boss. True story.
And did HR sign off?
I'm like, well, why don't you ask? I said, why do I have to do that? You've been here longer. I'm like, oh, okay. Because she just knew that would be the right thing to do. And I just said, okay, I'll do it. And then she said, I said, if I do this, is that going to be yes? Yeah. And I'm like, I'm not going to make the phone call. Oh, I'm glad we got permission. If I ever decide to go, I'll let you know. But we just have a great time together, and we love it we spend a majority of our time in Florida. It's just nicer down here.
Yeah.
It's been a brutal winter. I don't mind having left New York at all. And even the transportation time is about the same, believe it or not, because where I lived on Long Island.
Yeah.
But I'm so glad to be out of there.
Did it take you a lot of courage to ask her to marry you?
No, it was as natural as us sitting here. The only thing I had in the back of my head is, what if she says no?
But she didn't.
She did not say no. She did not say no.
Who's secretly the funniest person at Fox?
I think it's a competition it's got to be between Fela and Gutfeld. They are both wickedly funny, but in very different ways. I actually did a comedy show with Jimmy Fela, Punchlines and Patriots on Fox Nation. All these years, there were years, Katie, when I'd do book tours and I was traveling to 70, 75 cities while simultaneously doing 3 hours of radio, hour of TV, speech for an hour and a half, you know, 3 or 4 hour book signing, and then go to the next city and do it all over again. I mean, I was working that hard at that time in my career to build my radio show, build my presence on Fox. But what I learned is when I'm in front of a crowd, I really like to make people laugh. Like, I've not made you laugh enough in this podcast. I got to work harder. I got to try and make you laugh. And I noticed when I would be before a crowd, I'd always do like 20 minutes, little stand-up. I do my Bill Clinton impersonation. I do Marlon Brando. I do the great one, Mark Levin.
Yeah.
I'll say it. Nobody else will say it. There, I said it. That's it. I'm done.
So good.
It's not too bad, right?
It's such a good Mark Levin.
That's not even the real one. The real one. And let me tell you one other thing. And I'm going to say it. Nobody else will say it. I was like putting my heart into it now.
It's like watching him Saturday morning on Fox and Friends. It's the exact voice he was using, like direct to camera.
He's a brilliant man with the passion that is infectious. Like you and Steven, you know, we're kind of all kindred spirits in that way.
Who is nicer in person than they appear on TV from Fox?
Oh my gosh. You know, I just have a good relationship with everybody. Whatever intramural stuff might have existed in the earlier days in Fox, and there was a lot of that, I'm way past that in my life. I said it earlier, my success is not predicated on someone else's failure. It's not a zero-sum game. I wish everyone else well. Some people took a different career path than I did. I'm really happy I'm still at Fox. I'm very blessed. For those that decided they wanted to do something else, I wish you the best of luck. God bless you.
That's like saying bless your heart. It's the equivalent.
Maybe and maybe not. Honestly, you get to a point in your life, it's like, why would I wish ill on somebody else? Why am I hoping for somebody else's failure? What does that get me? You know what I'm hoping for your podcast? I hope you soar to through the sky.
Thank you.
And I mean it. I want our country to soar. I would hate to be a liberal Democrat because you have to hope for the country to fail and hope for Donald Trump to fail.
Do you think influencers these days have it easier than you did when you first started your career?
Yeah. If all I have to do is put on an outfit or wear a whoop like I do, I don't get paid to wear this whoop. And to get money for that, yeah, that'd be pretty cool. I don't know. I've been blessed beyond. When I started in radio, the odds of me succeeding were like zero. I started at a college station, got fired for all the right reasons. I deserved it. Put an ad in a trade paper, got hired in Huntsville, Alabama over the phone. Sean, New York, talk radio, coffee, how you doing? I had a very thick New York accent at the time.
When did it go away? I
kind of worked on, minimizing it. But people in Huntsville, Alabama, I grew up in Long Island, New York. Man, Sean, how you doing? Welcome to Huntsville. Man, you talk funny. The ironic thing was I realized I'm way more of a Southerner than a New Yorker because I just despise New York. Marxist, commie, Mamdani.
Which Fox host would you never let guest host your radio show?
Never thought about that. I'd probably let them all. What do I care? Which
Fox host is the last one to leave the Christmas party?
I don't go to the Christmas party, so I don't know. I haven't been to one in years.
Who's most likely to reply all to a Fox-wide email?
I don't have an email account. So I swear, nobody believes me.
Did you delete yours after the FBI investigations?
No, way before that, I got rid of. My lawyer is Jay Sekulow. He's my chief legal counsel. He's like, get rid of phones, never turn on your cloud. I get this whole laundry list of what not to do. And I erase my texts every day.
If you were stranded on a deserted island, which Fox colleague would you want to sit beside you?
This is what Katie Miller does. Katie now goes into all these trick questions, and I knew this was coming. What's the question?
If you were stranded on a deserted island, which Fox colleague would you want to sit beside you, besides Ainsley?
Ainsley.
I said besides Ainsley. Gotta pick one.
LJ, Lawrence Jones. He's my buddy.
The famous section of Would You Rather.
Oh no. Would I rather what?
Would you rather eat vegan for a year or drive a Prius with a coexist bumper sticker?
Eat vegan?
Or drive the Prius?
My whole diet would just I'd waste away to nothing. No, I'd rather drive the Prius. Although I have a Tesla. Remember when Elon was under fire?
Yeah.
It pissed me off so much that I bought two. And I bought two S-Plaids. One I gave away on my radio show. Mm-hmm. And it is the greatest car I've ever had in my life. And I've had fast cars. I'm a muscle car guy.
Do you drive it in full self-drive? Do you put the autopilot on?
I do both. I like both. When I put it in auto drive and people are with me, they're freaking out. They just can't believe how great this technology is. Yeah. I had Elon on one night and I go, yeah, it goes from 0 to 60 in 0.9 seconds. He goes, well, you'd be dead if it was that fast, but it's 1.9 seconds. I'm kind of embarrassed myself. But it's got 1,000 plus horsepower, 0 to 60, 1.9 seconds, auto drive. That is the greatest rocket ship kick-ass car I've ever driven. You can go online. It beats Bugatti. It beats the Corvette Z06. It beats Porsche.
Are you a car guy?
Well, I always dreamed of cars. Now that I can afford it, I never bought them. I bought one, but I like the S-Plaid better.
Would you rather play a round of golf with Barack Obama or go wine tasting with Kamala Harris?
I think I'd rather play golf with Barack. I don't think the conversation, well, it could be very entertaining with Kamala drinking wine.
Yeah.
As we've read, little stories about. The fact that she thinks she's going to be a candidate in 28 is just like, wow, delusional.
Please. Which term would you rather retire from your teleprompter forever? Radical left or fake news?
No, I'm not retiring any of them. No, I refuse. False choice.
Would you rather sit through a 12-hour diversity training hosted by Dylan Mulvaney or put your pronouns in your ex bio?
Oh my gosh. I would rather jump from the tallest building in New York. I mean, seriously, is that my option?
Yeah, I gotta pick
Where
one.
did you go? How long did it take you to come up with that question? Seriously? Oh my goodness. Wow.
Okay,
See,
so
I
which
told
one?
you this was going to be tricky. I knew she was going to do this.
Would you rather purchase Hunter Biden's entire art collection or let Greta Thunberg control your thermostat?
I'm not giving Hunter, zero experience Hunter, a penny. Greta, have at it.
What's a conspiracy theory that you believe in?
You know who gave the best answer to you on that? If it's a conspiracy theory, it's probably likely true.
Yeah.
I actually believe there's probably life from beyond. I mean, but this is more a religious view. We were not as human beings designed to understand the absolute majesty of God's creation. You can barely comprehend it. Every night I try to look at the stars, I try to look at the moon, and I have a telescope. It's something that like a little side passion I have. I love to stare at sunrises and sunsets, but to know now, as science takes us further, and there are universes within universes within universes, it doesn't say anywhere in the Bible that we don't have life on other planets. It's talking about life here. So that I believe is probably true.
How often do you think about the Roman Empire?
I'm a gladiator nut, so I probably watch it every 4 months. I could do my Marcus Aurelius. Maximus, do you not accept this great honor? With all my heart, no. That is why it must be you. What about Commodus? Commodus is not a moral man. You have known that your whole life. How sick is it that I can quote that?
It's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Reinforces my theory that all men think about the Roman Empire much more than we think they do.
That's your theory?
It was like this whole viral take. You didn't see this?
I didn't see that, no.
That like most men think about the Roman Empire
I don't
like
want to wear a
every
toga.
day. Exactly.
You have to wear a toga?
Yeah, you do. Next time on air.
Well, what part of the Roman Empire? The decadent part or the warrior part? The gladiator part? The chariots?
There's a lot of parts to the Roman Empire.
That's correct.
History continues to repeat itself if you look back at the history of the Romans.
It absolutely does. That is true.
It's very applicable today.
Very applicable today, no doubt.
What's your most liberal take?
This is the worst podcast you've done, right?
Yeah, 100%. The ratings failure. Total ratings failure.
Oh, great.
What's your most liberal take?
I'm pretty libertarian in my life in terms of, leave people alone, and their adult people alone. In their personal life, their personal choices. I have no interest in being judgmental, getting involved, nor do I care. I don't give a shit what people do in their private life if it makes them happy.
Does that apply to like trans adults too? If someone wants to change their genitals?
I can tell you a story. I've been friends with Caitlyn Jenner when Caitlyn was Bruce. I remember after the interview, I was talking about it on the radio, on my radio show, and Caitlyn was listening, and she called me after the show, and she told me a great story. I'll repeat it to you. And we were just talking about why this was all happening. I mean, this is the decathlon, Olympic gold medal winner, incredible life story, the last thing I would have ever suspected. And I said, we just had a raw conversation. I just don't understand it, I remember saying to her. And then she goes, Sean, here's the best part. I go, what? She goes, Diane Sawyer, with all that she has to ask me, she says, you know, the thing that shocked her the most was when I said I was a conservative and a Republican.
What keeps you up at night?
I'll tell you, I didn't sleep much before I don't sleep a lot before elections, and I don't sleep a lot during war. Right now, we're in the middle of this conflict in Iran, and I take it seriously, and I just stay up. I can't stop watching the coverage, and I want to make sure our servicemen and women are safe.
What's your go-to hype song?
Oh, Metallica, Sandman.
What's your biggest vice?
Nicotine. You want some nicotine pouches?
No, thank you. I'm pregnant.
Oh, that wouldn't be a good idea. Want a cocktail? Bad idea.
And the last question we ask
This is
every
it?
episode. Here we are.
Who'd you like to have dinner with?
If you could host a dinner party with 3 people dead or alive, who's sitting at the table and what are you eating?
Okay, I want to add more than 3. Is that allowed?
The rule's 3.
Huh?
No one's added 4.
I honestly would love to get Trump, Clinton,
Okay.
Obama, Biden, and for kicks and giggles, Elon. Because I'd just love to see his reaction to it all. And then, of course, the Millers. We have to add you guys in. I think that'd be great.
And what are you eating?
Oh, steak, absolutely. And, some vegetable.
Did you cook it?
Of course I did. I cook almost every meal. I like my own cooking, unless I go to like a steakhouse. There's steakhouses I love.
What's your favorite?
Oh, are you kidding? Tomahawk ribeye.
What's your favorite steakhouse?
I'd rather not say so I don't have people stalking me there. We're done?
We're done.
Those are all 10?
Done.
Can you autograph them for me?
Yeah, I will.
All right, awesome. By the way, I told you the show was awesome. Congrats on all your success. I love you and Steven. Congrats on the babies. You
gave me one of my favorite baby gifts for each of the kids.
I don't know.
I know you don't remember it, and I'm not going to say it on air, but it's one of my favorites.
Is it?
Yeah.
Say it on air.
No. No. Thank you so much for watching this episode of the Katie Miller Podcast with the infamous Sean Hannity. We'll catch you next Tuesday night, 6 p.m., everywhere you get your podcasts. Thanks for tuning in.